Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. This video has to do with the post we put on our Facebook. So, Mark said something about we did something we thought we would never do. And we are doing it because it makes sense for our family. And I don't think that anyone else who's watching this video should do it just because our family's doing it. You need to look at your family and see what's going on. So, what we did, very big thing, was we got Walmart Plus. So Walmart Plus is free delivery of groceries to your door and free delivery of shipped things from the Walmart stores. You can also get Paramount Pictures or something like that. I haven't even looked at that. So if you get Walmart Plus already and you have appreciated the benefits, please let me know. But the reason we have done it for our family is because, well, there's a multitude of reasons. One reason, it is becoming winter in Maine. And it is very hard for myself to get out in the ice. Because of my Charcot-Marie tooth, I'm very unbalanced anyway. And so when it's icy out there, I have more chance of falling. And being that I'm turning 41 tomorrow and I'm 13 weeks pregnant, it's just not a good idea that I fall on the ice. Right now, we only have me as the main driver because Naomi is working on her permit. She's doing great with her hours, and when she gets time to take her test, I think she's going to do fine taking it and passing it, but that's not till March. So we're going through an entire winter of needing to be able to get our groceries. So if I don't have to be walking to the car, how our house is set up, we do have garages. If you've seen our videos, you've seen we have garages, but the one that our van fits in not very well is the not attached garage. So we would still have ice to get to it. We can't fit it in our attached garage. So it will just be helpful in that way of being able to get groceries without having to go out in the ice and snow, because sometimes in Maine, we can be iced and snowed for a couple weeks. I mean, sometimes it'll be just a day or two and then everything goes back to being thawed out enough on the pavement. Our driveway is pretty good. We had it retard. Is that what it's called? Repaved a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. But it's black, so it melts the ice fairly well in the winter. But I also would have to go to another place. Even if I do Walmart pickup, I have to be in what's possibly an icy parking lot. And then just the idea of if you slide off the road and now I'm walking on ice, all of those things being home. So that is one perk of having it. The other is Mark and Josiah both have a really hard time in the stores with the fluorescent lights, all the colors, all the sounds. And we have had many times where Mark and Josiah have had to leave a store in the middle of a shopping trip because their brains are overwhelmed and Josiah is having visible seizure activity going on. When I say seizure activity, he's not having like a big full-on seizure, but we can tell his eyes are starting to go off and he's having trouble that could turn into a big seizure. So we've had to have both of them at different times leave the store, which makes it hard when you're mom trying to find all the things you need, but trying to do it in the shortest amount of time possible to make sure that everybody can get out of the store before someone has a breakdown.
Or losing half of your help to pushing people to the parking lot.
Yes. We've had multiple times where someone, Mark has to leave because he's not feeling well. So we send a bigger girl with him to the van. And I don't know how many times it's happened, but it has happened where either he accidentally takes the money out with him to the car, or they accidentally go out without the keys because of whoever's carrying, the bag or whatever. So all of those things. We also have a couple children in the house who have trouble with ADHD, and stores can be very confusing, especially when mommy is trying to read labels and look at prices and all of that stuff, which I can now do on the app at home, not while I'm there and someone else is trying to keep eyes on little people. And this is not to say in any way that it's because my little children are unruly in the store. My little children do occasionally touch things they shouldn't touch. They ask for things they shouldn't ask for. But the majority of the time when we go shopping, I actually have a very pleasant experience shopping with my little kids. It's these other factors that make the store really hard for us. So because we're not going to be going to the store on a regular basis, at least through the winter, which is great in a lot of ways, it also makes it so I am going to have to do extra training, extra practice with the kids in what grocery shopping looks like, because a lot of those things that I help the kids learn is at the grocery store. So here, let's compare prices. I'm now going to have to take the kids and have one of them work on the app with me so we can look at prices and those types of things, because it's very important for kids to know why you spend your money, how you spend it, not necessarily here's our budget for the month and here's every item, but why do you make the choices that you make? Because someday you're going to have a married child like we have now of Virginia, who's going to the store and having to make those decisions, one of like price and why we buy the bigger one or why we get the smaller one because the bigger one would go bad in that amount of time, those types of things, but also like why we buy what we buy. Why do we choose to buy olive oil over vegetable oil? Those types of things that I want the kids to know. And a lot of times that talking out loud comes when we're at the grocery store. So I'm going to have to make a different time to do that. I'm also going to have to make a time specifically to teach the kids to interact with people who are outside our house. I mean, we go to church on Sundays. We have friends that come over or we go to their house. So our kids know how to interact just with people in general, but interacting with people in a setting of, I don't really know this person, but being courteous, asking good questions, being able to ask for information when I need it. Like when you go to the grocery store and you can't find the honey, this is one of those, you can't find the honey because you would expect to find it with the sugar in the baking aisle. But no, that's not where this honey is. The honey is by the peanut butter. Why? I have no idea. But that's one of those things of, it's just a easy learning experience when you're standing in the store and you're like, I can't find the honey. You see an employee and you ask them, and then they take you to that place and you are courteous and ask the question nicely and don't seem frustrated with them because it's not their fault the honey's not in the sugar aisle. All of those things. So making opportunities. So we make opportunities through going to the library, which is a place that does not set off Mark and Josiah's brains the same way the grocery store does.
It's a lot quieter.
It's a lot quieter, and just there's not as many sounds. There's not as many colors. You can sit and look at a book, not walk through the aisle and see all the things that are there. We have other things coming up that we're planning to do for the winter that would be other inside activities that we can get the kids to do, those types of learning how to interact with strangers in the world, but not at the grocery store. So that is kind of what's going on. The other aspect that I wanted to talk about is now we've paid for this service. And so it is very easy to think, okay, so now that the service is paid for, we can just use it whenever we want. So I'm in the mood for, milkshakes tonight. So let's order some ice cream and some milk and get it delivered. There's a couple reasons we're not going to do that. One is we don't want to overuse the service because it is right now, we got it at a discount. There's a limited time deal going on. And so we got it at a discount. And it's unlimited how many times you want it delivered. But the people that are doing the deliveries are taking time out of their day to deliver to all these different people. And just because the service is there doesn't mean that it's necessary for you to use it all the time. I don't think there's any problem with, oh no, someone woke up with a stomach bug, so I'm buying Gatorade and crackers and stuff delivered to the house. I'm not saying there's never a last minute order to put in, but just I'm feeling munchy and I don't want to leave my house. Instead, order a pizza.
Then the price goes up eventually.
Right, because then the price goes up eventually because there's so many people that are ordering when it doesn't make it cost effective for the store to send somebody to do that thing. Also, when you shop like that, you end up spending a lot more money. There's definitely something to be said about going grocery shopping once a week. We've done this pretty much, for the most part. Our big shopping as a family had always been once a week when I was growing up. Not that my parents wouldn't, stop on the way home to grab milk or something like that. But the more times that you're in the grocery store, the more money you're going to spend. Because you think, oh, I have this thing. I have hiccups. This is kind of weird doing the video with hiccups. While you're there, you're like, oh, we're going to be low on salt, so I should grab that. Or, oh, that candy bar looks good. And you tend to put more things on your order. The same can happen when you're ordering just on a regular basis from delivery. It's very easy to order things that aren't a necessary need, and you aren't as like inventive. Is that a word? You don't try new things in the kitchen. When you're starting a recipe and you're like, oh, I don't have any paprika, I'm gonna have to go to the store and get that. You learn to only cook exactly as the recipe says. Where there's a lot to be said for, okay, I've got a half a cup of this left in the, a half cup of cooked chicken left in the fridge, and I've got a head of broccoli and I've got a couple carrots. What can I make with it? And just getting those creative juices flowing and actually using up the food you have rather than letting it go bad in the fridge. So I think you can struggle on that end if you're just willing to put in orders very often and not use the food that you already have in the house wisely. So we're going to be using it for the most part as once a week, get our groceries, not even get them delivered every time, because where we live, and this would be different for different families, but where we live, we're only about 2 miles from Walmart. So if I already know that I have an appointment out during the week and it would make sense for me to stop and get a pickup, I can easily do that, or even go to the store sometimes, because sometimes you have to go to the store and look at the actual items. But we're talking about the once a week grocery delivery, or maybe the occasional someone just woke up sick and we want to get the sick supplies type stuff. But that's kind of what we're doing. So using the resources around you to make sure that you're doing the best you can for your family with the time you have, because of the things I explained with our disabilities and things going on, this seemed like the best way to get our family's needs met of getting groceries this winter. And it's a year-long thing. So that means this spring when baby comes, I also won't have to have Naomi and Daddy. So we're a family that's very protective of our children, and I'm okay if people want to call us overprotective or whatever. But I am not ready, even if Naomi has her license, to send her to Walmart by herself to do my weekly grocery shopping. Not that she couldn't do the grocery shopping itself. I have no problems with that. It's people in the world and just how the world is. So I would have to send her and Daddy to the store after baby comes, and Daddy wouldn't be able to handle the store, and that would be stressful on Naomi, and it would just be a really hard time. So this will help us during that time also. So
also the financial aspect of it.
Yes. So
right now it's costing us less than $1 a week.
Right. So the promo code that they had is $49 for the first year. And then it'll go up to $98 for the years after that. So $98 itself isn't bad, because that's less than $2 a week. Mm-hmm. And so that's still not a bad deal. But at the $1 a week, if you live in Maine, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Some of my friends in Tennessee won't understand this. But when you have to go out to get the car warm before you leave, so you have to let it run 10 or 15 minutes before you even get in it.
To get the ice off.
To get the ice off the windshield, and you have to maybe be out and scraping and all of that stuff. You have to get the kids bundled up to be able to get in the car to go over there. Depending on the day, it makes more sense that I have the kids with me instead of leaving people here. So like that's definitely a thing of, like, Josiah is having a hard day seizure-wise today. He's out with a sibling right now, but I would not feel comfortable going and doing a pickup order and leaving him with somebody at home. So definitely that plays in for me. And then by the time you go over there, even though it's 2 miles away, we've had days where we've had to wait 15, 20 minutes to get a pickup order because they're just really busy. And then by the time you get home and unload it and all of that stuff, you've spent probably your car has probably been on for 45 minutes at least. Mm-hmm. So if you think
it's at least $2 in gas.
Yeah, it's a couple dollars in gas, where I'm only going to be spending $1 for it to get here to the house for this year. So for me, it seems to make sense. But everyone has different things. Like, it would work differently for everyone. When we were in Tennessee for the month of October, we went to the store. I think we only did one pickup order the whole time we were there. Mm-hmm. Like, we went to the store every time, and that just worked for our family and the family dynamic. But that meant that sometimes Bigger people stayed in the car so I could take littler people into the store because it wasn't a good day for them to go in the store. So that's just how it works for our family. So again, I'm not telling anyone else that they should get Walmart Plus. I haven't even tried it yet. We got it last night. So I haven't even put in an order, and I probably won't for a couple more days. But it's just something that for our family, it works. And maybe there's something that this will make you think through why your family's doing what it's doing. And is it working for your family dynamic? And is it teaching your kids the skills they're going to need for the future? If it's not, what ways are you going to address that skill that needs to be learned? Because our world keeps changing and we can't teach our children everything they need to know, but we do need to teach them to interact with the world around them and be able to know how to do the things that are necessary in life. So that's what our video is about today. So there we are. Herding little cows have Walmart Plus now. We'll see you guys next time.